Yeah.
What'd you do with it, Larry?
I always wrote it in here on my way out the door. Here it is.
I'm gonna make a copy of this text map and get it back to you.
So that's
Oh,
what
keep
I-
it, keep it. You keep it, okay.
Should
So, no, I'm gonna do an official opening. So this is a meeting of the Croydon Planning Board on July 19th, 2024, 6:40 PM. Call the meeting to order. This is a workshop to discuss the implementation of the Croydon Master Plan. We're gonna dispense with the usual openings and just dive right into this workshop.
Before we do, can I see that flood
Yes.
map, flood map?
Mine.
I shared mine. Do you have the copies in the ordinance?
Yes, I do.
Found it. I found it. I went
So Larry had this wonderful book,
Because I know we have them.
and inside this wonderful book, we don't have master plans before 1982. We have the 1981 version. Do you have a master plan before that? I would love to look at that. Yes,
And this,
we
this
haven't had one in 4
flood
years.
map is out of date.
So if we've got another one.
I don't doubt it, like, they were sure.
Larry has this book, and this book has,
You've seen the one that's more
all
all
the
that.
stuff.
Where is that?
but all
It's
old
online.
employee stuff is under it.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful tablet Bible. Whatever it is. It's all got to do with planning, yes. Master plan, subdivision regulations, zoning ordinances, driveway regs, minutes, agendas, correspondence, current projects, and board procedures.
Here.
And it's got all the RSA's, it's very cool.
So everything they do is.
How it's all-
The
The year of the ordinances is the last time they were adopted. Zoning ordinance is 89, subdivision regulations 86, master plan 81, driveway regulations 77.
What of ours is of the community is in?
No, I'm only interested, we're only interested in the master plan before 1981. We don't need the other stuff.
Jim, that map is not.
Yes, sir, yes, ma'am.
So this that I passed out for everybody came from Vicky, who gave it to the floodplain people. So in 1983, Croydon was part of the floodplain, and then for whatever reason, I don't know what reason.
When you say part of the floodplain, what does that mean?
So we were part of the National Flood Insurance Program. We were applying for it, we're becoming part of it. That's the reason for the ordinance that we had. At some point in time, quickly, right around 83, 84, Croydon was no longer qualified to become part of the flood insurance program.
Wow.
It seems that there's been some building in some of the FEMA corridors that there shouldn't be, and there is more than likely because we don't have
Like a storage unit?
a permitting process or. So I think maybe it was more that the reporting process that is necessary as part of this was not adhered to. So some of the buildings that are in this FEMA corridor that is on your map, that is a red hashtag, that is now larger in different areas, was there probably prior to 1983, but nobody could show them that. So all of this area that's hashtag with the red is been expanded, it's more, and there's not supposed to be building in that area, or if there is building in that area, they have to be adhered to very specific building criteria.
Okay, point of order. If it didn't flood last summer, when we had 25 days of rain, okay? That's gotta be 100-year or 1,000-year occurrence, right? Why don't they draw the map based on that? Now, I realize a tiny bit of water washed up over Route 10 at one point, but not much.
So there's a whole section on having the FEMA flood maps redrawn. If you can show them
part of the floodplain.
And you can't, a lot of the assistance, help, and grants that are part of FEMA and other things, you can't,
Larry, there's a question on the roads.
Well, the thing is,
you can't apply
you can't apply, well, I'm talking about when I come to the road.
Right, so what happened was, FEMA came in and they declared 7 days. They declared 7 days in July as eligible for FEMA restitution. We didn't have our trouble in July, we had it in
for
June.
June.
And they wouldn't give us anything. They wouldn't give us anything, they wouldn't sign up anything, they wouldn't give Brandon anything. But they handed it out to Alexandria and they handed it out to
Warner, Antrim,
Antrim.
Antrim, I think they are in July. But there were other smaller grants available through FEMA and the NFIP that we might have been able to apply for, hadn't been part of this program. But because we're not, we couldn't apply for that.
So we need to really figure out why.
Does it cost us anything?
We just have to apply for it and adhere to it.
We don't have to pay a fee.
Yeah, so there's costs on one of the pages here that say that you need the map updated, and that's typically $320 to $480, and then you need a full co-occurrence analysis, which costs around $1,280. So there's definitely some costs associated with it. One of the setbacks, and I can't correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe one of the problems with doing this for some of our residents, if you do this, it causes the floodplain to change because they come out and they do an analysis and it changes because rivers change, everything changes. Well, when you beckon that procedure to be done, your house could all of a sudden be in a category 2 flood zone, which when you go to sell it, you're not going to be able to because nobody will be able to afford the flood insurance that will be required for anybody getting a mortgage with less than 20% down. So you end up screwing people in a bad way because they're not expecting to have to pay thousands of dollars for flood insurance.
So that could have been another factor in why Croydon didn't go forward with this after having it for a year, because people were having to get said insurance, flood insurance,
They want more.
if they wanted to do anything or sell their home and so things. So I think that this is something that needs to go to the town on a warrant article. It's not up to us as a planning department, it's gonna be up to the townspeople. Truly, the corridor that we have is right here on Sugar. We don't have anything else. Even the new FEMA maps that are online, and looking at them, it's Route 10, it's for sure.
Okay. Well, that's the biggest body of water.
So has anyone identified? the
Body of
houses?
water that can collect and move water. So they don't consider a lake to be a problem because lakes have outlets
Yeah.
that flow out and they typically don't flow. It's
Well, I mean,
dam in front of
Right,
it.
yeah, there's a flood in the spring. But do we have a list of people who have houses that are in the floodplain?
We don't have anything like that. It's something that we would have to gather up the information.
Well, but you're saying.
So,
lakes,
yeah.
lakes, all of the houses that are
So,
around spectrum pond.
Who does the map?
Yes.
We do the flood map, right?
So, no, we could have the flood map done.
Is that the cost of $300 or something?
So the mapping, that's a separate document.
Is that the map we're talking about?
No. The FEMA flood map
Yeah.
is available online. You can go down and look at it. You can follow along.
So they've already made the changes.
It's, they're all there. The FEMA flood map is in online. You can see where the
So
houses
then
are.
any properties are already impacted.
Yes. Except if they're not impacted unless
no, they're impacted, they're in a flood zone. So, if we join, then those people will be eligible for FEMA.
And they'd be eligible for,
And that is the case there, and home insurance says, no, you didn't tell us you're in the flood zone.
but
Yeah,
they,
but then they just screw in, they buy flood insurance and they want a mortgage, right?
but I think that they need a better flood insurance policy.
The flood insurance is incredibly expensive.
But I think it's better if we, as a town, are involved in this.
Yeah, but if I own one of those houses down there, and, you know, and I didn't get flooded out last year, you think, why are you doing this? And I only had, there were only 5 of us, so we only have 5 votes, and the rest of you.
There's a couple of people who ask for this every time at town meeting, I forget, Kim McKinney is one of them, I think, I believe so, but, again, I think that this is, the
Well,
federal government makes flood insurance available throughout their community.
So let me ask you a question then. If we do this, does it save our homeowners money?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
does it say,
If we enter into this, what I'm reading is that it gives them better insurance costs for their flood insurance.
Okay.
That's what I'm reading.
but what, have we sampled them to find out if they have flood insurance at all?
I don't have no better.
Oh, okay, but no, the reason I'm saying it is because, like, you know, my house got flooded with rainstorm, I think I was informed what constitutes a flood by my insurance company. And what I was told is I'd taken that pipe and just did this and broken it, and my house got flooded, we paid cover. The fact that the water came in from outside and there was no flooding anywhere else, that wasn't covered. I mean, no God knows whatsoever, that's correct. Groundwater, so if we go to these people and say, who are in the flood zone now, who have actually a dwelling, not having these fields, you know, are you interested? Do you, first of all, do you have flood insurance? Or are you interested in getting involved with the FEMA program? Because they're the only ones that's going to affect, right? The rest of us are living up on top of the old.
Any question on the survey? I don't know.
Well, I don't even think it's worth it, the question survey, because there's probably only 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah, I don't know. And so, in looking
I
at,
think what I want to do is dig a little deeper into this, find out how many properties are actually in the flood zone. And then maybe reach out to these people. Reach out to these folks. What does this do for us?
Go ahead.
Maybe somebody at the state will answer
Yeah.
You didn't look at the flood.
that might be a good idea.
so I think we need to look more into it. I don't, again, I'm not quite sure. Everything is online, so you have to sit there and go through it online.
Yep.
Go to pages, and then click the links, and then the links take you someplace else. It's not user friendly. But there is a person through Vicky Davis that I can contact, and we can put together some questions and get the questions answered.
Well, I think we could do that. I mean, I think the question that I would want to ask is, no, you're late. It was 6:30.
6:30. We said.
I'm sorry. It's okay. We decided to move on to something else while we waited for you, which is what we're talking about now. So this is the National Registry. It's the FEMA movement. It's the FEMA application to participate in the National Flood Insurance Program. And so Croydon participated in it up until 1984.
Yeah,
And then they stopped participating in it. We don't know why. So my question was, well, if we participate in this, does it update the flood map? And Kim said, no, the flood maps are updated anyway, because I wouldn't want to update the flood map and put somebody who wasn't in the flood zone in the flood zone, because those things change. But then Kim thinks that maybe this would save some people on their flood insurance, because they don't have FEMA backup, which insurance companies would probably like that. So I think the question asked her is, what's the benefit? I mean, that's my only question, is what's the benefit to the taxpayer, to the property owner?
Well,
What's the
they're
benefit to the
saying all the
town?
taxpayers.
What is the benefit to the taxpayer?
Yeah, well, what's the benefit to the town? And you know, what are people, do people save money in their flood insurance if they have this? I think that's a valid question. Because I want to understand why, I guess I want to understand why we didn't do it in 1984 and keep doing it.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make any sense. But it could be something as simple as they were going to charge a $500 a year fee, and
Yeah.
back then they said no.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
It could be something very simple like that.
Okay.
So those would be my two questions to ask her, and then with those
And
answers,
we'll go from there.
we can go from
Okay, now they mentioned, you only mentioned the master plan on flood, yeah, I can find her. Talking about water resources, talking about, Constant and Rocky Mountain. And then there's just a note here, fly fishing along in part of the river. Flood zones along the river are no reason to figure. I don't know what I do with figure.
So we
It's
have,
a-
we
it's one of the
have
maps.
a flood ordinance, a building code in flood zone. We have that ordinance,
We
which is
do.
totally outdated.
I mean, what I'm seeing is, I'm seeing a lot of cost here. Which is probably what.
Those are maps. I'll
Yeah.
put it all together. The maps are separate, that's for the master plan.
Okay.
All the map stuff is separate from the master plan, we can pick and choose what we want.
So this is the menu of the services with approximate costs.
Yes.
And that's for the maps that we need?
Yes, those are some of the maps that are used in the master plan, so we're off the floodplain now. If you go to NRI information sheet, which is 4 pages in on that document. This is the list of resources that are typically included in the natural resource inventory maps. So a map will typically cost you about $400 to $600, that's your base maps. Then it depends upon how much you want, how much more you want. So we really kind of want to get some of the data in here. Steep slopes, we've already got steep slopes. I don't know if in prominent peaks, we probably want to pull those out. I don't know if we want sand and gravel resources, I don't think we care about bedrock.
We're all dead now.
Yeah.
Dig
The
down- dig down
agricultural
some-
soils, I think we want, I don't think we want to call out agricultural soils, but I think we want an overlay of a soils map, an overlay of a slopes map, an overlay of wetlands, streams, water bodies,
Soils,
soils, slopes,
slopes.
water bodies, which would be wetlands, streams, all of that, just, water bodies, water.
Soils, slopes, waters, wetlands.
Aquifers, just water, anything that has to do with hydrology.
And Clay said he could, like, he said he could
Give us
create
some
maps
of
with.
these, some of these.
Yeah,
You should be able to do the slopes.
he said.
He could do overlays.
He said he could do some of the overlays, but he doesn't do GIS. So that's a geographic informational system, and that's the really high complex mapping, which what Clay can give us, I think, is a base map of all of our parcels. And he does topo, so he can do slopes. I'm not certain what his cost would be to do an overlay of the water, the hydrology, or the soil conservation. I'm just not sure. And I don't know if the costs are going to be about the same. And if he would be willing to do it to take the time away from his survey job.
Yeah. I think we should get maps from Clayton, and Clayton has readily available and easily accessible, first and foremost, and then let him tell us what he's able to do. When there are, yeah. tell us what he's able to do in what time frame, because these guys will undoubtedly move faster. And if it's the same amount of money, I don't think he doesn't care.
My question would be like, more the why behind each of these maps, like, if this is all related to the master plan, are all of these applicable to the master plan?
No, soil, slopes, water, and wetlands.
Yeah, and then if we definitely wanna do probably a zoning overlay.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, so that's in the second page, yeah, community development land use.
Yes. You said,
Slopes, soils,
forest soils.
it would be all the different soils.
Okay, anything that says soils.
Yep, so it should do, so it's a breakdown, it actually give you, it's a soil conservation breakdown, we have an old map in the back. You can get it from the co-op, but it doesn't overlay against your base maps. This one would be right over your base maps. What's nice is if you think of Croydon as a base map, and then you overlay it on top of it. So now you have your soils, now you have your slopes, now you have your water. So now you see you have a parcel that has a slope like this with a sandy, gravelly soil and a water body coming down it. Okay, you don't want to develop on it because everything's going to run right down to the bottom of the hill. That's what you're kind of looking at.
So you said all the waters, is that what you said?
Yeah, I slope those all together, it's hydrology.
Alright, so all the waters and then of physical, anything that says soil, basically.
So,
And what about the wildlife stuff? Is that?
the only stuff is underground.
Doesn't that, I mean, I don't feel like this really has too much.
But, okay, but you're talking water sources now in front of me on, Barton Road, there's a little stream on the other side. That gets included. And I'm sure you know that one coming off where you are.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I know Aaron behind his house there's a marshy thing back there with a bunch of deep. Does that ever back up and come back under your way?
Yeah, boggy areas, wetlands, fourth order streams, those should
I don't know
all
if there's as many beavers as there used to be. But somebody was telling
They
me
move
that
around.
that body of water is a lot like higher and fuller, like.
Well, that's big, huge dam, got, blown up. But if you go farther down the road and you get way down, you'll find that the beaver dams all the way through, everything's keeping moving every year.
I have a beaver dam that we use as a cross.
On your property.
We can't get from one side to the other because right now the ponds in there.
That's like $7,500 max.
You don't have to do them all at once. You start with the base map. Another thing they said is the zoning overlay districts would be current use and conservation land.
I think there's two separate issues. There's an issue that planning would like to have some maps, and I think we can plan for those. Because we've got $3,000 this year, and we can just leave that in every year, and we can just get a few maps every year. Because I think those would be very good. But the real point of the question is, what do we need from the master plan? Those are the ones we want. So it's soil, slopes, water, wetlands, zoning overlay.
You got a question?
Map of rock farm?
You
No, maps. Yes. You got anything at Jenny Road? You got anything about Jenny Road? Rockabond Pond, there.
No, this shows the isotope. Yeah, this is the Kemp lot.
That does show the right of way, a lot clearer than the other one.
This is the right of way. These are all the deeds that were given away all here.
So where's Henry's property? Where's Leslie's property? Here? Is that the triangle we're talking about?
Where Harry is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
where
they were
they're.
gonna go,
Yeah.
I'm trying to get, where's the road that goes, oh, this is the road that goes back?
Jim Moody was 7.
Where's Indian Point?
Oh, this is probably where it's from.
Okay, but where's Indian Point? Here? Oh, these are the camp lots.
Mhm, that's ten.
Oh, so this is a camp road here?
Yeah.
Okay, and then it comes up. Well, wait a minute. Oh, that's what, I'm going. Oh, Leslie probably is down here somewhere.
Yeah.
Hey, and 40.
This is the 50-foot right of way. So this is the one where it got re-subdivided, and the guy came in and he's building on it.
This map's 1984, so a lot of the properties get changed.
Yeah. I don't think we need copies of these, do we?
I actually have those from the registry of deeds. Do you want to introduce me that?
Those are the cool ones, I like those.
Yes. This one I definitely like. Thank you.
Let me see that. Is that one of the ones that's in the office?
Yes.
I used to look at these every time I come in. I just can't help
Me
myself.
too.
Okay, back to-
Yeah.
Okay, so soil, silts, water, wetlands, and zoning overlay for the master plan. So what's the price of that? Any idea?
7,500.
Well,
Oh, that was not the number price.
Yeah.
Take an average.
Oh, okay, so you've got 320 to 480 per map, and we were asking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maps.
And I think with the water, they
Yeah.
can.
Oh, each of these is.
Water, wetlands.
Yeah.
Water would be water bodies, and then wetlands. and
Oh,
wetlands.
yeah, I was at a full category. All right, gotcha.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's not so
2 maps.
bad. Yeah.
And these will be large maps, so they'll be like this. And then we'll get
We'll shrink them.
PDFs and small copies, so we can put
Put
them
them
on
on
the website, and each of us
All right.
have copies.
So we're gonna table the rest of this, because you're gonna find out from Vicky answers to those questions. Why did the town authority not do it? Does she think? She won't know. She won't. Vicky Davis. All right, this is all Vicky Davis. Okay. Now.
Well, wait, no, quickly before you do that, does this cover stuff like roads that aren't in the floodplain getting washed out, which is what happened in the last year?
I don't know, but I can ask.
But then all of a sudden, then that might change the parameters of whether it's cost effective for the town. Because I don't know how much it costs the town to cover those roads in the last year.
A lot.
Road.
Millions.
Okay.
An awful lot.
We were told it again, millions.
I mean, cover everything.
We thought we had FEMA money, and then all of a sudden it was 70 grand. Okay.
That's so funny.
I'm screaming at 2 state senators to get their ass moving, because somebody told me it's $1.2 million. And then come to a meeting here, well, it's so.
70,000.
70,000.
Yeah, they were asking for like 1.2.
And it was mostly all dirt, that's what we needed. It was United, I thought it was 50 million.
So it's all free money. So it's all
All the pavement.
So who came up with that estimate originally?
Who's? Okay, I'm not asking.
great money.
Okay, let's go to this worksheet. You got your, I'm gonna read them off anyway, so.
That's fine, we do that.
All right, phase 1 tasks, community survey. So I'm pretty sure that we're gonna use them to formulate it, and we're gonna give them the questions, is that correct?
Are we gonna use the town Hanover one as a
Kinda,
basis kind of?
yep.
And the one from the master plan we did years ago, actually, the questions weren't all like that.
Yeah, no, I really like that one, yeah. I think you said the same thing, she thought I was maybe, the
availability would be a big
I'm on this list. I want to go down this list.
Okay.
Or do tasks, I'm not doing questions yet.
Oh, okay,
I'm doing tasks. What are we gonna do, and what are they gonna do?
I'm sorry.
Analyze the survey results.
Before you get started, I didn't send it out to everybody, but Vicky sent an email out to all the people in Upper Valley, mass email, to ask how many people have recently done community surveys, what did they use, and what were their results. So she's trying to get us some information. Did they use, Survey Monkey, did they mail it out? So we'll have some better information from her.
I can help with that too, I've done lots of surveys at work, so.
So
At least the online versions.
bring that information in so we can look and see, how we want to target getting the survey out to the citizens.
So I think that's a good discussion. So, so I think that doing some community breakfasts at the fire station, and having people come and fill a survey out there is probably the best idea, other than going door to door like they did in 1981.
I think we also talked about going to events like bingo night or to a church event or something just to.
I think you have, the only problem you're gonna have is if somebody decides they wanna fill out 10 surveys or 15 surveys or something. So if we send out 800 surveys and we get 980 back, it's a problem.
But didn't you say the school?
Yeah, but not the hard copies that you hand out at a breakfast. So, you can,
Yeah, just you run analysis and each page has
as a code.
unique number, yeah. So when you're entering them, you gotta put the code in and see anything like hit, multiple times, and somebody was up to some skunk works or it could just be an innocent, they get photocopies and they want to their life and one of their.
Correct, yeah.
You don't know for sure. But you could say on a survey, use this, don't make photocopies.
Okay. So we can do that.
There is a control.
Yeah, nothing's perfect.
Yeah, but, okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, if somebody fills out 100, sends them out. Okay. Analyze the survey results. I think the board can do that. And I think we can compile a narrative based on each question for the master plan. Community events, develop and conduct a community event planning charrette and involve the public in the planning process. I don't have an issue if you want Upper Valley to do it. I think it's going to be easy for us to facilitate it ourselves. But what's your thought?
I'm open to either. The only reason I say that perhaps Upper Valley might be good in bringing them into that point is because they might be able to help us break out into smaller groups.
So they do. They'll set up 4 or 5 tables in here, and they'll have different people go to different groups. One will be in conservation, one will be in recreation, one will be in fire and public safety.
The other
And
thing,
you go around, everybody, the groups move, and they actually do a very good job of facilitating, getting people to think. Because typically when the elected officials are doing it, or the appointed officials are doing it, people tend to have bias towards a certain individual or whatever. And not everybody in the room likes each other. So the problem is that with somebody from the outside doing it, they don't know who that she is. So everybody's going to treat that person the same. That's why it's kind of good to have them do the facilitating.
now there's multiple sessions.
Now, typically, for Derry's master plan, we had 3. So think about it. There's 33,000 people. It's a $50,000 master plan. I think we could get it.
I think Upper Valley Planning could come in and facilitate the first one, do the breakout sessions, get us into the chapters, maybe get us to the point where if we have people who are interested in being part of the volunteers, get that going, get us initiated into that, give us a couple of months if that's what's needed, because we won't know until we actually get into the meat of this, how much time we need to have the citizens
Yeah, I think you should have, I think you should have the ability to,
Yeah, and then bring them back, bring everybody back.
and I think that once the
once
board
we
goes
pass
through it for the first time, and we go through it for the first time for Troy, which would be myself, I think that we would be able to facilitate that if we wanted to do that. So I would say that Upper Valley will do that community event, and they'll do they'll analyze the results and provide a report back.
I understand. So the community event would be bringing people from town.
Yes.
Would you be giving questionnaires then? How's that? Or is it something?
No, this
else?
is,
Explanation.
no, the survey is separate from this.
Okay,
So what the community event does, the survey is generic. It's do you like green trees? Yes, I like green trees. Okay? The community events actually drill down into utilizing the residents' experience and where they live to talk about what things they're most afraid of. And it's much more customized to getting this done. It's much more customized.
So you put an invitation out saying the town of Croydon is having a community event to discuss.
At the fire station.
Fire station, whatever. Okay, so then they come in and you're saying they go to various stations.
It depends on how the facilitator sets it up.
But who is at these various stations giving out the information?
They're people.
Upper Valley.
Upper Valley.
Or us.
Yeah, we can
So
give out.
we are workers on that event. So we take direction from Upper Valley. Upper Valley will say, Larry, you're going to do the conservation table. Here's the questions that you're going to present to the people that are going to sit down. Here's the discussion that you're going to have. Go do it.
Okay, so these.
And 8 people will sit down with you and you'll say, okay, I'm going to talk about this.
And we get like 5 minutes or 10 minutes to do this. and then-
15, 20 minutes. Let's sit there.
Sort of like
Or, or one of the other events that they did was they have a bunch of, you get coupons, and they have a bunch of baskets with different ideas in those baskets, and 150 children people in the room, so you went out, and you put a coupon in the ideas that you thought were good, that you wanted to see in the community. Okay? And so then the facilitator would go out and she'd look in the bag and she'd pick the bags that have the most votes. And she would then talk to the whole group of people and say, okay, somebody wanted a skate park. Okay, there's 800 people here who want a skate park. So let's talk about a skate park. Why do you want a skate park? Blah, blah, blah. And then what they do is they come down at the end of all of that and they provide a report that says the people that participated in this, the majority of people want to have X, Y, and Z.
And it takes away the underlying driving motivations too, so it just provides color.
So we really don't want 500 people to show up.
I don't think 500 people will show up.
I don't think they will either, but I'm just saying, you're looking for.
You're looking for 50 to 100.
Yeah, there are people
That's
that.
about the size.
One of the ways that we did it, we had bulletin boards and we became scribes. People would find a subject that they were interested in, conservation, transportation, whatever, and we would just have subject line. And people would say, you know, I don't want to see Route 10 getting bigger, or I want to see less driveways on Croydon Turnpike Road, or whatever their talking point was, not written under that one header. And sometimes people, you'd see 10 of the same similar talking points under one header, so you knew that was a really good topic. Then everybody would get together and shift around, and it was amazing how they all aligned.
So the interesting thing is once you do this, you compile the analysis of the report and you publish it. Don't save it for the master plan. The reason you publish it is you want people to read it, because then you're going to find that, let's say somebody says, we want the town of Croydon to build a commercial district to put a Starbucks in, something stupid, right? But the 25 people in the room,
Somebody stupid already said that.
the 25 people in the room, as you know, can do a lot. So the 25 people in the room say, hey, we want Starbucks. And then everybody on Facebook and everybody online, they read that, oh, Croydon wants to spend tax money on something like that. And that gives those people the opportunity to call and say, hey, I want another session, because that's not what I want. And that actually happened in the last master plan. We had a visioning session, we posted the results of the visioning session, like 100 people got this. And they were like, we want another, we didn't realize this meeting, and that's the great thing. We didn't realize the meeting was that night. So we'd like to know if you're gonna have another. And we got 15 phone calls from another one. We had another one, and 80 people showed up. And it wasn't the same people. It's almost the same people, but so it's a good way to spark the first session, and we might get a home run in the first session, and everybody's happy.
We won't know until we do it.
Okay, so then developers.
Is there a town website specifically enough for all this stuff?
Yeah, and so says we can make that. Okay. So the next one is develop a strategy. Is choose a development scenario from community input and develop a strategy for the plan. I think the board can do that. Distributing the survey and data collection. I think we're going to need that. I think it's going to be a joint effort, right? Those guys know.
Yeah, I think getting them to help us, I think it'll make the process faster.
But if we're going to end up calling survey monkey, then something Aaron
Yeah.
and Paul.
Online's easy, the mail delivery is not all that hard either, because
No.
it's literally put it on the mail route.
Yep.
Just put one in your box.
Yep.
So,
Will you let them do that?
yeah.
We
I haven't
have to do it.
I haven't done it before, but I know people have.
You can pay for it. Pay for it.
Yeah.
Oh, you go to the post office?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you say put it on the mail room employees, and she'll put one in every box,
You'll get
every mailbox, which
Oh, I
is
see.
good.
Oh, okay.
That's how I was thinking about how we go home to home.
Okay, well, then the other thing, the point is, we're gonna obviously want a survey for every registered voter, so if she puts only one in.
Not about registered voters.
I can put.
Whoa, wait a minute.
It's not about registered voters. Master plan's not about registered voters. It's about taxpayers, about property owners. They don't have to register to vote to be a property owner.
What happens, okay. A married couple owns a property.
Yeah.
And they don't necessarily agree on an item two, right?
That house gets 2 surveys, right?
Right, yeah, because both names are on the deed or something like that. I don't know.
No. They would get one. The only way they get two is if they're tenants in common, they own 50%.
We had one for every person. We took one from every house. We took, not from household, we took it from the person, the people.
Okay.
So I can't pull that, I can't extrapolate that kind of data from the Avatar.
Yeah.
From the property record system, I can pull property name and an address. Don't think I can give you the 2 names,
I
but
think
if
you're right.
there's a double name,
Because Christie doesn't get anything for us.
because,
Even though like we're married and file jointly and all that stuff.
because you're on the deed first. If you were tenants in common and you each own 50%, then you would both get a copy of the
So
tax.
then,
What's the right way to do that? I mean, maybe it is one per property. Or,
No, because you're gonna have people living on that property have different opinions about things.
okay.
And then they also probably have, kids still living there that are voters and they have thoughts and.
But they don't-
We want the generational thing to go with that.
Maybe
Maybe
the
then
option
you
of
put a
somebody.
question on the.
Mail one to every registered voter.
every registered voter, you can mail one to the tax man.
My name and my daughter's name, she lives in Vermont. It's even worse than. So there's another thing, so the deeds can be, you can have somebody else's life estate.
So in 81, they dropped them at each person's door. So they only took one per household.
Went house to house, but I don't know if they only did one because you have to look at number of,
Yeah.
any other number of, how many were distributed,
Well, here's another problem with doing it just on the mail route, because you might deliver it to somebody who's just a tenant renting and not the property owner. So you need to, but there is a mailing list of the actual property owners. So we probably be sending some out, like, I think there's even somebody in Canada, like doing something here, it's like, they're going all over the place.
I would send them to the property owners.
Yeah, that makes the most
And
sense.
that would go to a PO box, that would go to out of state,
Yeah.
that would go to
In
whatever.
which case, you're not talking about just putting it on.
So the tax list.
Yeah.
To the tax roll. And you can say on the survey that if there's somebody that would like to come in, somebody living there that would like to come in, a taxpayer wants to make a different survey, they can come and get it.
rates or whatever we come up
We
with.
could send it to both, because there could be property owners that aren't registered
Yeah,
voters.
how about that? Right, and send-
So you have.
But you
to
could be a
have-
tenant and be a registered voter.
Yeah.
So
So you would want to differentiate the data sets, like, I guess it's, I mean, there's pros and cons for both, but I sort of fall back on, like, it should be the property owners, because they're the ones that.
okay, so
These
I.
tenants are basically transient.
So Ed Spiker rents his house, right? He's got kids in school, he obviously.
So they all need a voice.
Yeah, they
They
all,
all need a voice.
he needs to get a little.
But I do think a survey that is identifiable between registered voter and property owner
Yeah.
is probably not a bad idea.
I think it's a good idea, because then even when you're talking about the data, like, there's a difference coming up, you can call that, and explain that.
So we can get a voter list, it's an annual name request.
Should be able to buy the voter list.
Yeah, we can buy a voter because.
And then with your numbering system, you could put whether they're registered voters or property. You
We just title it
So like A, B, an A or a B.
Put their title in the survey.
All right, so we'll talk about that when we meet with her then. If they're gonna do that part of it, we can go through all those fine details then. If you flip, these are double printed, so if you flip to the back page, phase 2, develop the master plan. Meetings with the planning board and master plan committee. So that's the other question. Do we want a master plan committee? Or do we want to just facilitate it from this board?
So I think you're going to have to wait and see after the community event, if you get enough citizen focused attention and you get people who want to help. And we're going to have a few months in between the event and actually having a master plan done, then you're going to have a master plan committee. You can't tell people, no, you can help, you don't need your help.
They can come to meetings, right?
But if you're gonna have people show up and want to help, put them.
Well, I guess my question is, why would we have a committee after the visioning session? Because the visioning session is,
We got stuff to write, we got things to research, we've got information we've gotta go and get.
so why don't we advertise for a committee now?
That's the other one.
And then when we do a workshop with the master plan committee. Ask for 3 residents in addition to
Do you
the
think
board.
we're gonna need to help them sign this?
I don't really think
I don't
we're going
think
to.
so.
But I honestly think that we should offer the opportunity. I don't
I agree.
believe we're going to need assistance, but we should do it out there.
Be research.
Anyone is interested.
Do we have to make it like a formal committee?
Yes, and they would have to get together, and they can do it by themselves, they don't need us, there'll be 3 of them, they would have to take minutes, and they would have to post it, and if they not adhere to those rules and regulations, then they would be asserted.
I'm not worried about that, I can't find it that quickly.
Okay, you're good. Ryan, just interject us, going back to what we got this question. In 77, they just distributed 88, so that meant household, I'm sure. And we got 77, and moving up.
These are households.
Well, they only distributed 88 of them, so I would imagine there were 88 households.
Maybe those are just how many people actually filled out the survey.
And so the map.
No, 77 return of the 88.
77 returns, so 88 distributed.
And then, because they went, remember they went house to house to pick them up.
So what would 88 represent back then?
88 houses.
That's how many houses were in Croydon? That
Could be. I don't know, I've never heard that.
There was several hundred.
600.
No,
More than,
not 600 houses.
No, not 600, I think there's like 300 or something.
That's a big number.
I think it's like 300. I saw it recently when I was looking up something for the school. It was in the hundreds, for sure.
I think there's 600 properties.
Yeah.
That would be property.
yeah, but the law says a lot of open space, no
Fine.
structures.
True.
So anyway, so, yeah, but 88 of them is back out. Households. But my sense is you give it to everybody. Because there are people that can, husbands and wives that have hundreds.
Yeah.
Okay. So meetings with planning board, master plan committee, develop the plans, visuals, note taking. That's after, this is the vision chapter. So we should put that out there and make that board and their action. Compare the existing master plan vision with the current vision from the community events. That should be the board. Facilitate one public workshop on vision goals. That could be the board.
Yep. Jim, we can put it out on the website that we're looking for 3 people to come in and be a citizens, master plan committee. And we can put a deadline, and if people.
Why don't we wait until after the survey? Because then we might be able to
Then we
incorporate it
actually,
in the survey,
yeah, we could get some people that might be interested.
right? Write and design chapter. Write and design
The
chapter.
chapters,
For the video.
yes. We have a vision chapter, and then there's also.
Yeah, I think you want to
There's
put
2
that.
chapters that have to be done.
Okay, now, land use chapter. Review existing master plan regulation and ordinances, that's gonna be the board. Map, existing and future land use, including existing town facilities. So there's a map, Right. and that's gonna be the board. Write and design the chapter, that's gonna be the board. So there's a good use for a committee, to write the chapters, you know? Then you got, there's an option for a rough build-out analysis of developable land, including a map. I'm not necessarily sure we want to do that. Did they do that in the old plan?
To develop a land.
Yep.
Jordan road system, and they have one with a floodplain on it, right? Slow. I think those are the only, no, and then there was another one on the various, there's another map in there somewhere.
So I wouldn't be of the mindset that I want to just spend taxpayer money to hand a developer every available buildable lot.
No, and I wouldn't put buildable lots, I would put things like, you know,
I can understand open space now.
I really think we should do open space and conservation lands. There are
Conservation.
so many.
But those are down the
Down
road.
the road. We can't do it this year, we're not gonna get to it.
Conservation and
Open space,
open space.
green space corridors, that's part of open space and conservation.
So I'm gonna put an X on this. We're not doing that. Because it's optional anyway.
Commercial corridor, I don't know what they're doing with the traffic count on Route 10. I don't know if that's part of the DOT build-out, but there's,
I
traffic
saw it.
count, there's
In Grantham.
6 of them all.
Are there?
There's 2 in Grantham, there's 1 here, in Croydon, and there's 2 in Newport.
So gather most recent data, research data, and create graphics for easy understanding of data. And this is people and housing chapter.
So we can get a lot of the demographics right from Upper Valley Planning, we already have it.
So I'm gonna star them. That's theirs.
And then they'll take it and make pie charts or, you know, XYZ line charts.
Okay.
Much easier.
Then it's assess change and projected change and its impact on the community. The board. Inventory existing, housing by age and type.
That change letter.
Was that change based on like the new master plan or just current trends? What were the changes?
What the growth.
It says assess change and projected change. So basically that means, what did your master plan say 10 years ago? So what was the change, what was the projected change of that master plan? How was the impact, how did it impact the community? So some of these master plans are very detailed in the sense that we're gonna build a commercial corridor, we're gonna do this, we're gonna set up a TIF district, and we're gonna find it through this. And then you go 10 years later and you go down to planning. We didn't do that.
So you can look backwards at what happened rather than to look forward from now.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So
So I
we
think
have
the
to
board
go
can do that.
back into 1980 and see what they projected out, and then say, did that actually happen? And then say, okay, now what is it that we want to continue to happen? What were the pieces that didn't happen that should have happened?
So just vision, just every workshop, once we get going, is gonna be a chapter. We're gonna dedicate one workshop per chapter. So we're gonna come in, we're gonna tear through the old plan, we're gonna answer all those questions, and we're gonna come up with our theory of what that information tells us. And then from that, you then incorporate the stuff that the community has supplied on the survey and the stuff that the community supplied on their visioning sessions and stuff, and that's what the future is. And now you're gonna try to assess that of how you're gonna go about implementation, or how you would suggest it. Inventory of existing housing by age and type, we don't have any of that data, do we?
Upper Valley does, and yes, we do,
So that would be an Upper Valley,
yeah.
okay? Write and design the chapter, I think the board would do that. Total demographics chapter is optional. Poverty level, age, and any interest of any other interests. We want a
So some of
demographics
our-
chapter?
Some of us, that, we're not gonna get to this year, but the demographics chapter is something that we really want to look at.
But wait, why not? We just did a census.
Okay, so that's it, we can get our census data.
We can get the census data and just summarize it.
This is gonna help us because we wanna look at things like facilities, playgrounds, school, updating the town hall. All of these things that have been put off for 40 years that were mentioned in the old master plan, but nothing's been done, so that's part of our visioning chapter.
So I think
We
that
need the demographics.
the demographic data would be good.
Absolutely.
And what was the census, was 22 or 20?
2022.
That's pretty good data.
No, it's very good.
So let's use that. So let's incorporate that and then when we
And it
can.
will help us, we gotta track our growth, because we've got
Right.
that growth, we need to see how. we-
Larry, how many people were in town when this master plan was done? Did they say that?
It's now, it's pretty close to 700.
Population really hasn't changed.
That's it, 19, oh, it's 18.
They have the graph right here.
Yeah.
I think Aaron could probably do a better
We've
graph.
we've got 5.
500 something, okay, cool.
The peak was 1,000 people in 1800.
Economic development chapter.
We need one. If we're gonna do anything, where we're gonna bring in a tax base that would just add to support our taxes without adding.
I'm gonna make that whole chapter a board chapter.
That's a
And
super
we will
district.
And we will discuss it as we go through the process. Because ideally, if Croydon wants to do any sort of economic development, select board member, we should declare a commercial zone. And within that commercial zone, you should make sections 79E tax savings available to any landowner, property owner in that zone that wants to build a new commercial building by renovating an old commercial building.
There are no old commercial buildings, because there's no commercials.
Not true. If Creek Pavers decided to move out, if Patton's decided to move out,
They're not zoned commercial.
it's not zoned commercial?
No.
No, I know, there's no zoning for commercial.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But if you want to do economic development, you gotta have a commercial zone that
So
offer
the planning
tax
department and the zoning board need to determine
what the commercial zone will be.
is. Have a public hearing, invite all the people, and make sure that they understand that their parcels are going to be zoned commercial, and change the zoning, make the map change, and then bring it to the select board, so the select board can say, oh, hey, look.
Right, but
We've got to change.
and if you're not gonna have a commercial zone, then what do you develop economically?
That's, we need to be able to develop a small commercial.
It seems to me at this point, it's a little bit cart before the horse, because the survey might come back and be like, you don't want
That's correct, that's what I said, just.
it. So we gotta wait for that.
That's why I put board and table.
Okay.
This is core to their intent. Obviously the commercial establishments there.
You show me where we have a commercial zone.
So Larry, the benefits of, if you have a commercial zone, right, then, let's say, as for the point of example here, if Creek Pavers building, and I'm not saying Andy's moving out of town, but Andy retired, they sold the business, the building's empty. It's empty, okay? Somebody comes in, Ruger comes by and says, you know what, we need an engineering office. I'm gonna put $500,000 of improvements into this building, and I'm gonna extend the building. If you're in a commercial zone in the state of New Hampshire, you can apply for what's called 79B. It's a 10-year tax savings, where they'll develop the building, they'll put all the money into making it a much better building, but for 10 years, they get to pay the same tax rate.
They get assessed as
As it stands right now, and increased for inflation every year. But you can't go and reassess it at
Because
the,
it did.
right? But that's an incentive for somebody over some zone that doesn't have that. It's an incentive to come.
Now, do we want to incentivize commercial?
That's why I just said, leave it alone until the survey's done, and then see what the people say. And then, okay?
The only thing that the people, we need to make sure that people understand that a commercial zone, if it's handled correctly, if it's zoned correctly, if there are the right ordinances in place, can increase the tax base without adding the other instrumental tax burdens.
Next chapter.
Somebody comes in today and says they order Gary Cooney's to carve out that big hole in the side of the building. And say, okay, I want to put a building. They come to the select board for a building permit, right?
Correct.
Now, you have nothing on the books that says whether or not you can develop a business there.
Correct.
Except for-
The site plan review, that's it.
Yes, that's
Do you have an ordinance saying that I can't put a commercial building next to a residential
No,
building?
no.
Okay, so, right, so if somebody went up on Winter Road and said, okay, I want to put a business here across that field across from your house, then they.
There is a reason
Well,
for it.
no, we do, because of the zoning. We don't have a commercial zoning, we don't have an industrial zone.
So when a business would go in down here, you're taking what is supposedly a residential property and then turning it into business, right?
If you would talk that as a residential commercial
Well, no, when Patton built
You're just saying as it is now.
So when
Yeah, I
Pat
mean-
built that, he built it because he could, there wasn't any site plan, there wasn't anything that said he couldn't do it.
Right.
Except the fact that there
zone. Let me
wasn't.
give you an example on what you're poking at. A survey question could be, do you want to limit the amount of commercial development in your neighborhood? Because there's a lot of people that are upset with car dealerships and car salespeople or tow truck people or all sorts of businesses that are all junkyards, that are all over town. So nothing's been done for 40 years. There were 500 people living here before. Now we're 40 years later. Maybe people don't want to have the ability to put a commercial building on,
Well,
Gordon
sorry.
right? You don't know. So what may end up happening from this is you might get 40 or 50 or 60 people that come in and say, hey, I just had a guy open a septic company next door to me and he's parking his sneaky trucks. We have this all the time. Okay? And so now that is going to be begging for zoning. To have residential zone and commercial zone separated. So all of that is based upon what the visioning session transforms into and the survey transforms into.
No, I mean, I'm disputing. I mean, at one point, we had guys building machine guns down here, we got a flat. They had a business going up on that. Where is, who is our former town clerk? Where is he? Our former town clerk,
Charlotte.
or before Charlotte. McGuire. But she was up on,
Oh, Brenda McGrath?
Brenda McGuire, where is she?
I thought she was in Fletcher.
Yeah, she's up on Fletcher or whatever that, right, actually,
Right.
right road, yeah. But I mean, they had a garage or something, and they're building machine guns, and they're test firing them up there and all.
See, I personally, in my personal opinion, honestly, I don't care. I think someone's going to put a manufacturing facility on Fort Turner. But
But I mean, you have the car dealership down on your road, I mean, you're right, I mean, these things are around.
they're right. So we don't know if people are kind of miffed about that.
Yeah, okay.
And I think you're going to get people the opportunity. Yeah, it's a good question. to
Any
see
of
what
these
these.
sections where we have a question mark, like this economic one, we should make a note to make sure that goes in the survey.
Thank you. It's there. Okay, now, natural, historic, and cultural resources chapter.
Zero.
We have a museum.
Yeah.
Oh,
We have how many old buildings?
Tons.
Lots.
This is 17 something.
Yeah. We should have an inventory research of
Okay.
resources.
Four.
Board.
four.
And, I think we can ask the historical society to help us with that.
Yeah.
Well, so here's an option for the chapter is a map, okay, which shows the special features and significance related to natural resources. Now, history and culture. Natural resources, history, and culture. So that would be a beneficial thing to have because we have some Civil War people buried in our cemeteries. Okay, that would be of historic. Yeah, that would be historic. We have
Little Red,
Little Red. We also have.
an old mill.
Even though
So-
it's all up
And
front.
I don't know, you guys, you were working with Paul, and Paul mentioned something to me about they were doing some research on the first free black man who bought land in York. Right.
No,
Oh.
Yeah.
there's a foundation.
Oh,
He was a Greek slave who bought land in Croydon, and they think it was the first one.
So these chapter would take a tremendous amount of effort, it would be cool.
It would be cool to sit down with some of the
Yeah,
old
old,
people that have been here for a long period of time.
absolutely.
And when you're
And
building your
listen to-
maps, it might like inform maybe how you're thinking about zoning and whatnot, and you don't want to put a big manufacturing facility next to like an old historic house.
Yeah,
So that would be a cool chapter, right? And the other thing that I think would be cool is to get a picture, I might have one, to get a picture of the four corner marker, which is located in the park. I have a picture of the four corner marker where four towns come together. It's Grantham, Croydon,
Claremont.
Plainfield.
something.
There's only three. I've been there.
No, there's one in the.
There's three.
The one, they do that every 7 years, right? And there's dates all down the thing.
There's one in front of the town board.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Okay.
The one up on the mountain is Plainfield. And it took a long time.
I've got it. I'll send it to you. I'll find it.
Oh, did you go on the last?
Yeah. I've been in the park.
No, but you weren't.
I did not go on the last trip, but I was in the park and
When
we stopped at that.
They checked the boundary around it with a name for it.
I was on that trip.
What?
I was on that trip. Perambulation.
Perambulation.
Yeah, you did the perambulation every 7 years.
And that was 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, Ed Spiker did the one.
Last year.
Yeah, but only between the one town line, Grantham.
Yep.
So,
So you didn't go in the park?
no, he didn't do the park.
Well, you were in the park. Normally you do probably, you gotta go in the park.
Well, I don't know if he went in the park. He did the Grantham town line.
Well, because that line was running around, that's what.
Yeah, Cornish, Plainfield, Grantham, and Croydon. Cornish is on there too.
It's in the town report. It's in the town report.
Cornish is there too.
They didn't really know, representative wasn't there.
But it's on the post. There's 4 names on the post.
Oh, I thought that was three. Plainfield.
Plainfield,
There you
Grantham,
go.
Croydon.
There you go. She got a picture.
You got a picture of it?
Yeah, because it's in the town.
Yeah, that's it. I must have seen that, 'cause that's where I got that.
Anyway, okay.
All right. So anyway, we want to. I think the board can handle this one.
I think the cemetery ended up themselves for what, 7 or 8 of them?
7, 8, 7.
It's in the town report.
No, but
Okay.
okay, so there was.
So board, we're gonna. We don't need Upper Valley for that. All right. Next one. Transportation chapter. Consider all pertinent modes of transportation, provide a framework for both adequate and local needs. I'm just put the board on this because we don't have public transportation.
No, but we really need to get a classification of our roads, including all of class 6. We need to understand where they all are.
Okay, hang on one sec. we want to do, under this chapter,
Yep,
we're going to do a road classification,
yep,
okay?
so,
What else?
But that's after the master plan.
yeah, the transportation chapter is gonna take us a
Who
while.
does the heavy lifting on that? The road classification?
So the.
So you're saying that we wouldn't
selectmen
have
are-
it, are you saying we wouldn't have it for the master plan?
I think we're going to have the basics, and it's going to be a chapter in progress at all times,
Okay.
and then do the word
Okay.
thing. Selectmen are the department and board that is in charge.
So I'm just gonna say, start with the baseline. We'll figure that out. How many miles of roads do we have? How many miles of paved roads do we have? And how many?
I would have just looking at that the last meeting.
Yes, we were, because we were looking at that small.
Okay, all right, flip it over. Community facilities chapter. Identify the facilities to support future land use pattern outlined in the land use chapter. Meets the projected needs of the community and coordinates with local government, special districts, school districts, as well as state and federal agencies that have multi-jurisdictional impacts. Useful to help the community plan for future needs of facilities, facility expansions to include capital improvement. Okay, so the board can do that.
And there'll be, definitely repeat the fact that we have no plans for the water treatment plant or.
No, so this, yeah, but we would list our municipal, recreational, and community facilities, which would include, churches as well.
Churches,
But in there, you're gonna wanna say, we have no plans to do.
Municipal water.
Or municipal water.
municipal water, so,
That goes in that?
yeah.
It's in the master plan now.
Right, that would be a project. Putting in municipal water.
Oh, no, it's horrendously expensive, which is why you can say to developers, no, we have no plans to build. That's why you can't have an apartment when you report.
You can do community septic.
You could do community septic wells.
Yep. Natural hazards chapter. Document physical characteristics, severity, frequency, and extent of potential natural hazards to the community. I'm gonna put that as a board action. Next one is the recreation chapter. Show existing recreation areas and address future recreation needs. I'm gonna do that as a board chapter because we don't have it, but we can talk.
We have a playground.
We'll spend a workshop on it.
And we go to really efficient.
This is where I think you want your no municipal water and sewer. It's in the utility and public service chapter. Analyze the need for showing the present and future general locations of existing and anticipated public and private utilities.
I would do it there as well, and I would address broadband, and I would address cell towers, and I would address, anticipated solar or wind fields.
Board. Okay, moving along. Climate adaptation chapter. Address current and future conditions of the region resulting from climate change. I'm gonna put that as the board, but I'm gonna pass over that because I read all that crap. It's a bunch of poop. Regional concerns chapter. Describes the specific areas in the municipality of significant regional interest. These areas may include resources wholly contained within the municipality or bordering or shared with neighboring municipalities. Items to consider would be limited to public facilities, natural resources, economic and housing potential, transportation, agricultural, and open space.
So we've got.
This is to promote regional awareness and managing growth and fulfillment of vision statements. Useful to see how the municipality fits into the regional picture and how changes in the region can impact the municipality.
Is this things like Corbin Park and Fishing Lane?
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
open space, and Corbin Park is an open space. Nobody can get in there unless you've got blue bucks. So there's nothing that's a regional impact to that, but the Ruger fishing lane, absolutely. The fact that we're open for OHRV use all over the place, which pisses some people
What's that?
off, but is great for other people because they can come and use all the roads and get to any, place they wanna go.
And the impact of that has been negligible, right? at one point, the kids every once in a while would go by, but it was not a problem.
As long as they're not on private land and they're adhering to that, then I think it's pretty manageable. If they're not digging up the class 6 roads, is mine.
I don't know anybody.
No, they're still up and down the road and turnpike at all times. Still using it.
So, I talked to Fish and Game. And as I asked them why their buggies on Croydon Turnpike, why they were the buggies on Croydon Turnpike when they're not supposed to. And he said, well, we have a fundamental problem. We have interconnecting trails and no way to get to them.
Yep.
So he goes, what am I supposed to do? Somebody goes from Claremont, comes all the way through Newport to the Jimmy Road, comes up to the Jimmy Road, and now you're on Croydon Turnpike. And the next state road, you have to go on Croydon Turnpike to get into the trail.
What's he supposed to do?
What's he supposed to do? So he goes, it's only no OHV use because this is a state road. And the state doesn't allow OHV on their roads. And I think it would be great for the town of Croydon to take over Croydon Turnpike Road after they pave it.
We don't
We're on
want
the
that.
pavers. We don't want that road.
We don't want it at all.
Do you know that, I'll make this part of the minutes, Melissa. Do you know that the state ditched Croydon Turnpike Road? And they chopped the end of my driveway out, which I'm not happy about. And they claim that they're gonna come back and fix it, which is fine. You saw that.
Yeah, they ditched both
Okay,
sides.
they ditched both sides. In the ditching process, as they got a little further down before, at the rise of the hill before the church, they dug the ditch down right next to the consolidated box and severed the consolidated line. I haven't had phone or my hardline internet for 2.5 weeks now.
They had a truck there all day.
Oh, they fixed it.
Fixing it, yeah.
But I filed a service report the day it happened. And the guy from Consolidated came up the house because the wires were so bad, he didn't know if he had spliced the right phone number with the house, so he had to go to the house to check it. So I happened to have the gate was open, so we drove right out, and it was like, oh, here we go, right? I'm coming on, going, what's up? He goes, I think I got you all set. And I'm like, all right, now I have to be nice to you. But he said that the state never even informed. They didn't even know, and they're looking for a pole. They were looking for pole damage. This is underground. They never want to look there. So it's the box that everything connects to, that's their splice box,
The
big tall box, and then the cable comes in from the line and then it goes back out. That was broken. All right, next chapter, neighborhood plan chapter. Focuses on specific geographical area of local government that includes substantial residential development. This chapter is part of the local master plan, will be consistent with it. No neighborhood plan will be adopted no neighborhood plan will be adopted until the local master plan is adopted. Useful to garner neighborhood support and input. So when I was thinking neighborhoods within a municipality, I think of neighborhood schools within a municipality. Because there's towns that have different elementary schools, and they formulate their neighborhood around the elementary school. Or they formulate a neighborhood around the downtown, and then everybody else is considered out. I don't really see how we would make that apply.
I think this is more planned unit development. So they're talking about being a neighborhood where you're going to
50 apartments or something.
do something like that.
So this is probably not applicable?
It's not applicable, correct.
All right, so NA, that's our first one. Community design chapter. Identify positive physical attributes in the municipality that provide for design goals and policies for planning in specific areas to guide private and public development. Useful to garner support for the input for the community to evolve in a way that is desirable. So this would be a board action. And this is new planning and zoning.
Yes, so it'll be new planning and zoning, it would be, I think, truly want to look at the village district. And if they do decide, if our citizens do decide that they want to look at a commercial zone, then, I would love to see a conservation zone, conservation district, expanding what we have, so that type of thing.
I don't know how you would zone that,
Yeah.
because you got, I don't think conservation land necessarily needs to be zoned, but I think it would be a really good idea to start adopting a conservation plan. Because the easiest way to curb development is to buy the land. Because when the municipality owns the land and they turn it into walking trails, or they turn it into a park, or, you know, and this would be super simple for our town. You're saving land to be developed, and you have that land available, and then if townspeople want to develop it at some point in time later on in a different master plan, you can also, the town can sell.
And right now, the land is all enrolled in current use, so the tax dollars that
Are
are
insignificant. Yep, so it's not like we're buying a piece that's worth $5 million on a tax roll, and we buy it, we take it off of there. We're getting $80 a year, so what difference is it?
Right. And if you look at the land too, you can see the different corridors, and you can actually consolidate and not have piecemeal sections that are in current use or in conservation. So,
Next chapter is the housing chapter. So this is assess local housing conditions and project future housing needs of residents of all levels of income and ages in the municipality and region as identified in the regional housing needs assessment performed by the Regional Planning Commission. So
regional planning commission.
we should utilize Upper Valley for this chapter. Next is energy chapter. Include an analysis of energy and fuel resources needs, scarcities, costs, and problems affecting the municipality, and a statement of policy on the conservation of energy. In a statement of policy,
Everybody
on
conservation of energy.
useful to address consumption and increasing costs, including environmental of fuels. Can we ixnay the energy chapter?
I would say put it off, we're not gonna get to it. And what are we gonna do with it?
No.
We're not going to adopt renewable energy codes, we're not going to be a generator. So, yeah.
We're probably not gonna be building a nuke in town anytime soon.
Implementation chapter, long-range action program with specific actions, timeframes, allocation, responsibilities for actions, descriptions of land development regulations to be adopted, and procedures which the municipality may use to monitor or measure the effectiveness of each plan chapter. Useful to provide the big picture of the plan and a schedule to achieve stated goals.
That's gonna be us.
That's gonna be us.
Suggestions.
That's probably, that's really the cover report for this slide. And finally, adoption and final plan formatting. Guide the municipality through the process, and I think at the end of the whole thing, you gotta have Upper Valley.
Yeah, they'll have it, give it all to them, have them put it all together in a book.
Okay, going back to your, the long-range action program, the previous one, the last chapter was goals and objectives.
Let's just,
Preservation, control, expenses, health and safety.
can you go to those slides?
The goals, I'm just curious what the goals were in 1981. All on side. It's a great
Second
segment.
one, the numbers on the pages, we get a whole lot here.
So I think
Page 24, goals and objectives. Is desire to preserve and improve the present quiet and rural character of the town. Objective, control the land use to maintain present rural character of the town. This forest land use, discourage small lot subdivisions. So this is, I guess, the board or whoever the master plan committee said.
I don't see that.
These are your goals.
Much
What?
different.
Oh, I don't know. And then number 2, goal control of expenses, which comes out with
meeting every year.
no plans for public water supply or sewer
that right there is commercial development.
Yeah, basically.
Then we have, public health and safety, desire to maintain public health and safety, objective to adopt appropriate building code.
We don't, but
We
part of the
want
site
one.
plan overview is to make sure that whatever is done in code meets standard health and safety.
Regulation concerning the design of lots and soil testing will be enforced, prevent dumping of toxic waste within the town. Public facilities is designed to provide more public facilities for recreation. Consider the purchase of land suitable for recreation.
See, I told you.
Draw a play possibly with conservation committee for development of various areas for public use, playground, etc.
No, wait, one sec. This is 1981. When was Sawyer's Field built?
19, I just had
Oh, I
yeah.
baseball field.
So, but that would be a goal achieved
Yes.
of the 1981 master plan because you built a recreational facility. Doesn't matter. The fire department did it. Yeah, it doesn't matter though.
Yeah, they would be.
It would be no different if you guys did.
I saw that we moved the land.
But you can't do that in the town budget. Or start charging them rent.
Encourage conservation agents permitting recreational use of private land, encourage requests and other gifts of land from the town use. Yep, so that was a key. Yeah, is there a negotiation matter, or do we build just do that at the bottom?
I have no idea.
No, we just did that, there was no negotiation.
And why did he cut all the trees in? Sure as hell didn't need the money, and he's dying of cancer. So why did he cut all the trees down?
Forest
Which
management.
tree?
All, you go along down beyond your house, all that forest out there got
I thought they were fishing balloons.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's-
no, Uncle Luger did it before it became Luger North.
Oh, okay, so it's not.
So he logged
He lied.
it before,
Yeah.
but he clear cut
No, he left a couple of trees here.
it. Okay.
But it just didn't seem to make a lot of sense. You know, he did clear that one lot on top of the hill that looks at the mountain, and that was, I think, before the development. Nobody bought a lot. And that was clear cut. As you go up Lower Hill Road, there's a lot, the fence and stuff.
Oh, there.
Oh, okay, so
And I think he cut that out.
So that
He
was
was looking, okay, so he was looking at Croydon Mountain. or-
Yeah, but I think he shot that at the lot, and then that just got. Town buildings should be evaluated for their overall efficiency, improving usability, energy use, safety, or record.
That's it. How many years ago?
Suggested regulations desired to assemble policies and regulations to protect and preserve the present harmonious character. Revise the master plan as necessary. Consider promulgation. Wow. Of zoning.
Expanding.
Consider adoption of regulations to limit the issuance of building permits for new zoning units to an acceptable number per year.
Sounds like growth management.
Yeah, consider limiting the percentage of mobile home park permits to protect the taxpayers. So I think you can Xerox this and include it in
Well, it's gonna be, it will definitely be part of the plan, but it won't be the whole thing.
It's the very end of the plan is goals and.
Right, but there will be new goals that you,
But I would think your survey of existing towns or whatever might be goal. Find out what we got, how we got there.
all right, so it's 8:00. I am going to adjourn the meeting because we have covered good ground here. And I want to save the survey questions, then are going to go on to the July meeting that we're gonna have on the 17th. And that's what we're gonna discuss, because we don't have any other work. There's nothing, I can check the folder, but I didn't see it.
In here is a list of the master plan committee, the members.
Oh, nice.
2, 4, 6, 8. We made a whole list of see if you can remember who these guys, well, I don't know.
Okay.
Who these people were and whether they were on the board.
could have had
They could have
five
been
planning board
all
members.
members.
Could have been 2 from zoning, 2 from planning, and 3.
Yeah, no, it could have been right.
Yeah, that's rules.
And the planning committee was 80 to 80. That's the way it is. If not, we should be able to fund it.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. We are adjourned.